Hi everyone! So today I'm going to teach you how to make these. These are orange and ricotta fritters. They've got a little bit of mint in them and they're beautiful. They make a great dessert for dinner parties. They're so easy to make, they're beautiful. So what we're going to do is we're going to make two parts. We've got a sugar syrup and then we've also got our fritter dough. And I'll show you how to make them. For your orange fritters today, basically it works in two parts. So you have your orange sugar syrup, which I'm going to make first, and then we'll use these ingredients to make the base for our fritters. So starting off with the orange sugar syrup, all we need is 100 mils of water and 100 grams of sugar. So we'll pop those. Always put your water first into your saucepan and then sprinkle your sugar over the top. Stuck in there. So pop that in, and then all you want to do is just gently whisk that together, just to mix the sugar in, dissolve it a little bit. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop this on the stove for about 4 minutes until it starts to bubble. Now whilst our sugar syrup's on the stove, it's on high heat. What we want to do is you want to use half your orange and you just want to peel with a paring knife, just the orange peel. You don't want to get any of that white section, which is called the pith. So you can see that white section, that's the part that we don't want. So just do it in thin strips like this for about half of your orange. Don't worry about getting too much at the start because we're going to take that off anyway. So probably about 4 strips, depending on the size of your orange. We just want to use the other half for the zest for the inside of our fritters. So we'll pop that aside. So what you want to do is you want to lay them out flat, so the rind side down, and you want to just gently cut away most of that white section. It doesn't matter if there's a little bit, but this section is the bitter part, so we don't want the bitter part. We just want the orange flavoring to infuse into our sugar syrup. I can hear my sugar syrup boiling, which is what we want. Okay. So just like that. So you can kind of just start to see through. And then what we want to do is we just want a julienne cut, which just means fine slices, our orange rind. So you need quite a sharp knife to do this. And we just want thin strips. Okay, so that's our julienne cut orange. You can see just really thin strips. Now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to place all of this straight into my saucepan. It's been in there for about 4 minutes now. And then I want to let that boil for another 2 to 3 minutes and then just turn it off and leave it and let it sit on the stove. So I've just removed this one off the stove. It's been about 3 minutes and it smells amazing. You can see it's still quite hot. So you can take it, you can leave it on the stove when it's turned off, or you can just pop it aside just to let it cool. And then we're going to move on to part 2 of our recipe. So I've got 350 grams of ricotta. This is full fat. I tend to use full fat things when I'm baking. I just think that it turns out better. So I've got 350 grams of ricotta and I've got about 60 grams of goat's cheese. Now what you're going to mix that together. And then what I want you to do, so I've got 3 eggs here, and I want you to beat in 3 eggs one at a time. So you want to just mix that together just until it's pretty much smooth. You're always going to have a little bit of lumps in there just because of the ricotta, and that's fine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to transfer that into a bigger bowl. So transfer that into my big bowl. This is my favourite cooking bowl. My mum has had this bowl for probably pretty much all my life. I mean, I'm turning 25 next week. This bowl's been in the family, I'd say, for about 25 years as well. So she's passed this down to me, and I know it might just be a bowl to some people, but I've been brought up baking with her, and this bowl's really special to me. I bake with it all the time. It fits everything in. It's great. I can whisk it together. So we want to add in, I've got 160 grams of plain flour here. So we're going to add all of that in. We might need a little bit more depending on the consistency. So you want it to be a little bit runny, but just enough so that it holds into a ball. So I've got 160 grams of plain flour. I've got about 60 grams of caster sugar here. I'm going to add that in. I've got 4 tablespoons of milk, full fat again. You can use skinny, you can use soy if you need to. I just find that the full fat works better. And I've also got about a tablespoon of fresh mint. Orange and mint is just, it's such a good combination. And then I have about 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder. So I'm going to add that in as well. And then other half of our orange. And I'm going to simply put the rest of the zest from this orange into my fritter mixture. Okay. So I've taken off all that orange zest. Pop that in there. And then I'm going to whisk that together. That's perfect. I don't need to add any more flour into that mixture either, which is great. So you want to be able to get your whisk through it, but you want it to be able to come together just until it's like a loose dough. So just like that. I mean, it's not completely falling out of the whisk, so that's the consistency that you want it to be. You want it to look just like that. Now I'm going to let this rest for 10 minutes and then we'll come back to fry them. To fry these orange and ricotta fritters, basically I have my mixture here. This has been resting for about 10 minutes. So that's all ready to go. And I have my saucepan with, it's about 700 ml of, I've used sunflower oil. You can use vegetable oil, peanut oil, any of those oils that are really good with high temperatures. But I've used sunflower oil today. I just think that has a better taste. I prefer it myself. So you want to put about 4 centimeters in the dish, in the bowl. It just depends on how big your saucepan is. And then you want to heat that to about 180 degrees, and then it's ready for frying. And I'm just using my glass sugar thermometer today just to measure the temperature. So we'll just wait a little bit for that to heat up. And then I've also got, you need a slotted spoon or one of these ones with the mesh on it, just to get it out, and then a plate with lined with some paper towel, just so we can drain them on here. So once that's hit the right temperature, I usually just turn the stove down, just right down, just so that it kind of maintains the heat. It's quite hard on the stove sometimes. And then once you notice that the temperature's dropping, just turn it up a little bit and vice versa. So what I do to test if it's ready to go is I just grab a pinch full of our mixture and just very carefully let that drop in. And if it does that, where it rises to the surface and starts to bubble, you know it's ready to go. And then we're ready to go with our bigger fritters. So basically I'm just using a tablespoon, heaping it up, and then just very, very gently, you don't want to burn yourself, it's super hot. I'm probably going to do about 3 at a time. I've just used a small saucepan today. I prefer working in smaller batches. Don't want to overfill my pan. And they're going to brown up quite quickly. So then once one side's brown, just roll them over to cook the other side. So they're nice and golden now. We'll take those out. You can see the little pockets of ricotta as well. The little lumpy bits actually come out once you fry them, and they look beautiful. So now that we've fried our fritters, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the last of my orange. Remember I said I don't like wasting anything. And I'm going to segment it. So this is basically just part of the garnish. I'm going to show you how I like to serve my fritters. It's always nice to see how you can plate things. Sometimes people struggle with, you know, just putting the whole dessert together. But this is a really easy way, and to be honest, in all of my videos, I'm going to show you how to plate things up because I love being creative. That's the fun part, is putting your dish together, being really proud of it, presenting it to your friends. So I'm going to share my little tips with you until you have it like that. So you can see these beautiful little segments, and what you're going to do is you're going to use your small paring knife and just cut just in between each of the segments, and you'll get a little piece of orange just like that. So depending on how many segments you want, you can do the whole orange, you can do half the orange. I'm just going to do a few. They just look beautiful on the plate. It adds a beautiful freshness to it as well. This is a fried dish, so it really lightens it up. Okay, so that's probably all I need. Now I'm going to set that aside out of the way. To plate up our dish, this is my favourite part. I do a lot of cake decorating and cupcake decorating, which I'll also share with you in my videos. So you'll learn that I love to decorate. Now, I have a beautiful big dish here because I usually serve this all as one big dish, pop it in the middle of the table, and everyone can dive in. So you just want to grab just a few of your fritters, pop them around the plate. Usually start with the bottom layer, maybe, what have we got, 3, maybe 7, just in the middle like that. Now what we want to do is we want to, I've got about half a cup of honey here and I've just warmed it up a little bit. I'm going to get our teaspoon. Now this just adds a lot of sweetness to the dish. This is a European style dessert, so Europeans love their sweets. So we just want to drizzle a bit of honey over. Now we've got our beautiful orange syrup, which is thickened up. It's beautiful, like the orange, the little julienne strips that we've done, you can see those in there. They're beautiful and sticky and caramelized. And then you just want to, now I'm just going to pour the syrup over the bottom, just like that. I'm going to leave my julienne strips of orange in there to top. So we'll stack up just a few more, just like that. A little bit more honey, just like that. More orange sugar syrup. So basically what you want to do now is just pick out those orange bits. I like to do this by hand because I am quite hands-on and particular. I like things to look, I mean this isn't a very neat dish, but I like things to look quite neat. I'm a little bit OCD in that way. I'm quite particular, but you can just sprinkle your little orange zest bits over. There we go. And then you just want to segment your little oranges, just place them just around the plate. You can put some on the plate, just like that. And then to finish off, it with a couple of mint leaves, just to finish it off. Pop a couple of little ones on there, just like that. And there you have your orange fritters. Delicious. Hope you guys enjoyed. Remember, like, comment, subscribe. Love to hear more from you. Let me know what you want to learn. Next up, I'm going to do ricotta cannolis. I love making these. They're amazing. They're so enjoyable to make, and I think you're going to love them. See you soon, guys.